हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण
అమోఘ్ ఇదొకచూరు సన్నగా చేయరాయుట్న
हरे कृष्ण श्री जी किशोरी
Let's go back on the internet.
Hare Krishna, Amogha Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Can you see the verses on the screen?
Yes, Mataji, and also it is on live as well.
హరే కృష్ణ
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today's reciters are Gita Gamya Mataji, who will be reciting in Sanskrit, and Saroj Mataji, who will be reciting in English. They'll be reciting from Canto 3, Chapter 26, verses 44 to 58. Gita Mataji, please start with the invocations 3 times. Hare Krishna. Over to you, Gita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you for the opportunity. Hare Krishna everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. रसमात्राद्विकुर्वाणाद् अम्बसोदैव चोदितात् गन्धमात्रम् अभूत् तस्मात् पृथ्वीघ्राणस्तु गन्धगः.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Due to the interaction of water with the taste perception, the subtle element odor evolves under superior arrangement. Hence, the earth and the olfactory sense by which we can variously experience the aroma of the earth becomes manifest.
Text 45. Karam bhaputi saurabhya shanto gramladibih pratak द्रव्यावयववैषम्याद् गन्धयेको विभिद्यते.
Odor, although one, becomes many, as mixed, offensive, fragrant, mild, strong, acidic, and so on, according to the proportions of associate substances.
Text 46. Bhavanam brahmanasthanam dharanam sadvisheshanam sarvasattva gunodbedaha prithivivrutti lakshanam.
The characteristics of the functions of earth can be perceived by modeling forms of the Supreme Brahman, by constructing places of residence, by preparing pots to contain water, etc. In other words, the earth is the place of sustenance for all elements.
47. Nabho guna visheshorta yasya tachrotra muchyate vayur guna visheshorto yasya tatsparshanam viduhu.
The sense whose object of perception is sound is called the auditory sense, and that whose subject of perception is touch is called the tactile sense.
Text 48. Tejo guna visheshorto yasya tachakshuruchyate ambo guna visheshorto yasya tadrasanam viduhu bhumir guna visheshorto yasya sagrana uchyate.
The sense whose object of perception is form, the distinctive characteristic of fire, is the sense of sight. The sense whose object of perception is taste, the distinctive characteristic of water, is known as the sense of taste. Finally, the sense whose object of perception is odor, the distinctive characteristic of earth, is called the sense of smell.
Shloka 49. Parasya drushyate dharmo hyaparasmin samanvayat ato vishesho bhavanam bhumavevopalaksyate.
Can you scroll up, please? Thank you. Since the cause exists in its effect as well, the characteristics of the former are observed in the latter. That is why the peculiarities of all the elements exist in the earth alone.
Text 50. एतान्यसंहत्य यदा महदादीनि सप्त वै कालकर्मगुणोपेतो जगदादिरुपाविशत्.
Can I scroll a little bit more, please? Thank you. When all these elements are unmixed, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin of creation, along with time, work, and the qualities of the modes of material nature, entered into the universe with the total material energy in 7 divisions.
Text 51. ततस्तेनानुविद्येभ्यो युक्तेभ्योऽण्डमचेतनम् उत्थितं पुरुषो यस्मादुदतिष्ठदसौ विराट्.
From these 7 principles, roused into activity and united by the presence of the Lord, an unintelligent egg arose, from which appeared the celebrated cosmic being.
Text 52. एतदण्डं विशेषाख्यं क्रमवृद्धेर्दशोत्तरैः तोयादिभिः परिवृतं प्रदानेनावृतैर्बहिः यत्र लोकवितानोऽयं रूपं भगवतो हरेः.
Scroll a little bit higher, please. This universal egg, or the universe in the shape of an egg, is called the manifestation of material energy. Its layers of water, air, fire, sky, ego, and the Mahat Tattva increase in thickness one after another. Each layer is 10 times bigger than the previous one, and the final outside layer is covered by Pradhana. Within this egg is the universal form of Lord Hari, of whose body the 14 planetary systems are parts.
Text 53. हिरण्मया दण्डकोशादुत्थाय सलिलेशयात् तमाविश्य महादेवो बहुधा निर्बिभेदकम्.
I'm sorry, the text has gone.
Hare Krishna Mataji, it seems there is issue with Shri Kishori Mataji's system. So I'm just going to share that one. Which Taka Mataji?
53.
53.
Yes. Can you see my screen, Mataji?
Yes, I can now. Okay, so it's 53, yes?
Yes.
Okay. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Virat Purusha, situated himself in that golden egg, which was lying on the water, and he divided it into many departments.
Text 54. निरभिद्यतास्य प्रथमं मुखं वाणी ततो भवत् वाण्या वः निरतो नासे प्राणोतो घ्राणयोतयेतयोः.
First of all, a mouth appeared in him, and then came forth the organ of speech, and with it the god of fire, the deity who presides over that organ. Then a pair of nostrils appeared, and in them appeared the olfactory sense as well as prana, the vital air.
Text 55. Granadvayurabidyetam akshini chakshuretyoho tasmat suryo na bidyetam karnau shrotram tato dishaha.
In the wake of the olfactory sense came the wind god, who presides over that sense. Thereafter, a pair of eyes appeared in the universal form, and in them the sense of sight. In the wake of this sense came the sun god, who presides over it. Next there appeared in him a pair of ears, and in them the auditory sense, and in its wake the Dig Devatas, or the deities who preside over the directions.
Text 56. Nirbibeda ग्रोमश्मश्राद्व यस्ततः तत ओषधयश्चासन् शिष्णं निर्बिबिदे ततः.
Then the universal form of the Lord, the Virat Purusha, manifested his skin, and thereupon the hair, moustache, and beard appeared. After this, all the herbs and drugs became manifested, and then his genitals also appeared.
Text 57. Retastasmadapa asan nirabidyata vaigudam gudadapanopanācha mrutyurloka bhayankaraha.
After this, semen, the faculty of procreation, and the god who presides over the waters appeared. Next appeared an anus, and then the organs of defecation, and thereupon the god of death, who is feared throughout the universe.
Text 58. Hastau cha nirabidhyetam balam tabhyam tatah swarat padau cha nirabidhyetam gatistabhyam tato harihi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Thereafter the two hands of the universal form of the Lord became manifested, and with them the power of grasping and dropping things. And after that Lord Indra appeared. Next the legs became manifested, and then the process of movement, and after that Lord Vishnu appeared. Hare Krishna, thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Mataji, Gita Mataji, and Saroj Mataji for your beautiful recitations. Over to you, Amogha Prabhuji.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice, so divine recitations. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly joining this evening to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and giving an opportunity to speak a few words on Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so before we start, we shall offer our Mangalachan prayers. Oh. अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांशं श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांशाम्। हे कृष्ण करुणसिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिविकासस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृणुतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्त्वह्य भद्राणि विजनोति सुहृत्सतां। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीम्। एते चांशकलाः पुंसः कृष्णस्तु भगवान् स्वयम् इन्द्रारिव्याकुलं लोकं मृडयन्ति युगे युगे। इदं भागवतं नाम पुराणं ब्रह्मसंहितम् उत्तमश्लोकचरितं चकार भगवान् ऋषिः निःश्रेयसाय लोकसधन्यं स्वस्तये नमः। कृष्णे स्वदामोपगते धर्मज्ञानादिभिः सह खलु न शुश्रूषामीशा पुराणार्को अधुनोदितः। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रये। अतिविश्वेश विश्वात्मन् विश्वमूर्ते स्वकेषु मे स्नेहपाशम् इमं चिन्तिध्रुवं पाण्डुषु विष्णुषु त्वयि मेनन्यविषयमतिर्मदपति असकृत् प्रतिमुद्वाहतर्धगङ्गवघुमुदन्वति। श्रीकृष्ण कृष्ण सखा विष्णु ऋषभावनिधृराजन्यवंशिदहनानापवर्गवीर्य गोविन्द गोद्विजसुरार्त्यहरावतार योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। योगेश्वर किल गुरो भगवन् नमस्ते। तुलयामलवेनापि न स्वर्गं न पुनर्भवं भगवत्सङ्गसङ्गस्य मज्जानां किमुत शशः। पुनश्च भूयात् भगवत्यनन्ते रतिः प्रसङ्गाश तदाश्रयेषु महस्तु यां यामुपयामि सृष्टिं मैत्रसु सर्वत्र नमो द्विजेभ्यः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे बालोऽपि यदनुग्रहात् तरेनानामतग्राह व्याप्तं सिद्धान्तसागरम्। श्रीचैतन्यप्रभुं वन्दे यत्पादाश्रीविदितः सङ्गृह्णाति आकृरातात् अज्ञः सिद्धान्तसन्मनीन्। ॐ नमो भगवते राधा गोविन्दाय नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you for kindly waiting. Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam, it is all about the material elements. So this chapter is fundamental principles of material nature. So generally we come to know all the details about the universe, how it has emanated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everywhere there is a time influence plus the energy of the Lord. Okay, that influence in order to transform one state to another state. Okay, just sharing a little bit of picture here. So this is how initially the Pradhana, this is unmanifested matter. So here we have got the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he glances on the Pradhana, which is unmanifested. After his manifestation, so there is a balanced Raja, Tamaha, Sattva. So they existed, and when the Lord glances on the Pradhana, the Prakriti gets manifested. This is unmanifested form. This is the manifested. This is activated material nature, which is the Lord's energy. Okay, and from there, Mahatattva, which is the cosmic intelligence. So which emanates, that is starting point. This Mahatattva from the Mahatattva, the Ahankara is exhibited through three material modes of nature: Sattva, Rajaha, Tamaha. This is goodness, passion, and ignorance. And from the mode of goodness, the mind and all the demigods get generated. From the mode of passion, the senses, or like there are 10 senses. One is the 5 jnanendriyas, 5 karanendriyas, hands, legs, stomach, and genital and anus. These are the 5 working senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses. So these are generated from the mode of passion, and from mode of ignorance, the 5 tanmatras, sound, touch, form, taste, and smell. These are generated. And then the 5 panchabhutas, the material elements, they also get manifested. So this is, and then from there, there is sequence, how they were manifested. So sequence goes like this. So first of all, the sound comes, and from the sound, the sky or ether. And from ether, you see that there is arrow marks are going on from sound to ether, and from ether to the sense of touch, and from the touch to the air get manifested, material element, and from air, again, the form is manifested. This is Tanmatra. One side Tanmatra, and then next material element, and then Tanmatra and material element, and then Tanmatra of smell, and then material element, earth. This is a sequence. The finally earth get manifested. So within this sequence of these elements, the ether, it contains only the sound. And the next element, air, it contains sound plus sense of touch, both, because it was created later on. And in the third, the fire gets created. It contains sound, touch, form, the 3 tanmatras. And the next element, water, it contains sound, touch, form, and taste. 4 elements, 4 tanmatras. And earth contains sound, touch, form, taste, and smell, and everything. Earth contains everything because it manifested at the end. Okay, this is the sequence. Okay, so just thinking. Okay, so these are the again the material nature creates, and then from earth there are again interaction between water, earth, and fire. Yet Chetram Samasana Savika Tejovari Mudam Veda Vinimayo Yatra Tisargo Mrusha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. So all interactions takes place between the elements. Again, when the interactions is taking place, at every moment there is time factor and influence of the Lord. So those are the main ingredients, but these are all material elements. Okay, so this is a few pictures again in order to, while we are going through about the material nature again, ahankara, goodness, passion. Okay, we shall move to the now. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, while we discuss here. So today covering shlokas are 36 to 39. So just from the 30, starting from the 32, this is where the universe gets created. So just giving a little bit of overview. So this is the sound vibrations, from the mode of ignorance, coming back to the picture here. Okay, the sound, which is the third mantra. So sound comes from the mode of ignorance. It gets created from mode of ignorance. That is from the 32 shloka. It is described. So tamasarcha vikurvana bhagak virya choditat shabdamatram abhustasmat nabhastrotram tu sabdhagam. When the egoism in ignorance is agitated by the sex energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the subtle element sound is manifested, and from the sound come the ethereal sky and the sense of hearing. Sense of hearing. And just in order to show a little bit more, it is a bit technical details, but I'm just putting in a Excel spreadsheet. Pradhana Mahatattva, and then this is all yellow part is the Prakriti, and the goodness, passion, and ignorance. When these are elements are created, the first thing is about the sound, and from the mode of goodness, demigods get generated plus the mind, and from mode of passion, the senses are get generated. So these are all at the moment, there is no amalgamation, they are individually existing. And next, whenever it comes to the tanmatras, the sound, and from the sound, the sky get ether get created, as we have seen in the picture. So this is first, second, third, and then fourth. This is a sequence, and 1, 2, 3, 4. In such a way, it is a set. It is a set. Everything is Dig Devata's ear and sense of hearing, the sound, and the sky. These are all, again, there are characteristics of the sound. This will sound conveys the idea of an object. It indicates the presence of a speaker. And similarly, the sky is accommodation of room for the external and internal existence of all living entities, namely the field of activities of the vital air, the senses, and the mind. In such a way, these are all going in a step by step. All the universe gets created at the end. The earth gets manifested. From there, all the interactions between water, ether, water, fire, earth, and air and sky, the interactions takes place, and the life we would see in a perceivable way. Okay, so this is everything comes from the sound. And then from the sound, the sky get generated, and then it is also described here. It is shelter for ardhashriyatvam shabdhasya drashturlingatvam evacha tanmatratvam cha nabhaso lakshanam kavayo viduhu ardhashriyatvam. So the sky, that which conveys the meaning of an object, ardhashriyatvam, meaning of an object, shabdhasya, of sound. Adhashriyatvam shabdhasya drashturlingatvam evacha. So I'll go through the translations. So persons who are learned and who have true knowledge define the sound as that which conveys the idea of an object, indicates the presence of the speaker, screened from our view, and constitutes the subtle form of ether. Sound is the subtle form of the ether. Ether is the physical element, and subtle element is the sound. And then further, Bhutanam chidradhatritvam bahirantaram evacha pranendriya atmadisnyatvam nabhaso vrittihi lakshanam. Nabhaso vrittihi lakshanam, vritti lakshanam. So the activities and characteristics of the ethereal element can be observed as the accommodation of room for the external and internal existence of all living entities, namely the field of activities of the vital air, the senses, and the mind. Okay, so So these are the activities and the characteristics of the ethereal element, that is the sky. It will accommodate the accommodation of room for external and internal existences of all living entities. Okay, that is the sky where all activities takes place. Okay, and then further, in the 35th sloka, so here it is described नभसः शब्दतन्मात्रात् कालगच्छ विकुर्वतः स्पर्शो अभवत् ततो वायुः त्वक्स्पर्शस्य संग्रहः. From ethereal existence from the sky, which evolves from the sound, the next transformation takes place under the impulse of time, and thus the subtle element touch. This is the second tanmatra. Subtle element touch, and thence the air and the sense of touch become prominent. Subtle element touch, and then next is the air that will get created. So this is, and in the last session, it was covered up to this point. So this is like a sequence of, so sense of touch up to hear sound, ether, and touch. It was done up to touch. We shall be discussing from 36 sloka, that is the air and form, fire, like that. Okay, so we shall move to the 36 sloka, which is to be discussed today. So here it gives the different kinds of characteristics of the sense of touch. Mrudutvam katinatvam cha saityam ushnatvam eva cha etat sparshasya sparshatvam tanmatratvam nabhasvatah. Mrudutvam katinatvam cha. When we touch any object, we feel whether it is soft or very hard. Mrudutvam or katinatvam. And we also feel whether it is cold or hot. Saityam ushnatvam evacha. Saityam is the coldness, and ushnatvam, it is the hot or heating. Evacha etat sparshasya sparshatvam. Sparshasya, of the subtle element touch, we feel that touch when we hold that one. And then sparshatvam, the distinguishing attributes. Tanmatram nabhasvataha. Tanmatratvam nabhasvataha. So this is the subtle form, and nabhasvataha, nabhasvataha is of air. So air again, so coming back to this one. So the air, there is sense of touch. Air, due to the presence of the air, we feel the sense of touch. So because of, in order to accommodate touch, this air gets manifested in a sequence. So as we see, it goes. And then further, so translation for this shloka: softness and hardness and cold and heat are the distinguishing attributes of touch, which is characterized as the subtle form of air. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So tangibility is the proof of form. In actuality, objects are perceived in two different ways. They are either soft or hard, cold or hot, etc. This tangible action of the tactile sense is the result of the evolution of air, which is produced from the sky. Okay, so that is the characteristics of the sense of touch, and it will be evolved through the air, evolution of air. Okay, that is from the 36 sloka. So, mrutvam katinatvam cha saityam ushnatvam eva cha etat sparshasya sparshatvam tanmatratvam nabhasvataha. Okay, we shall move on to the next sloka as well. So here in the next shloka, it is in the air, the functions of the air, which is also described, the actions of air, those things. And here with sense of touch, we have understood the characteristics. Now, the air, the functions of air. Chalanam yohanam praptihi नेतृत्वं द्रव्यशब्दयोः सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम् आत्मत्वं वायोः कर्माभिलक्षणम् कर्माभिः लक्षणम् by actions. So the air is known by the actions. What are they? Chalanam vyohanam praptihi. Chalanam is the moving, vyohanam mixing, praptihi allowing approach. Chalanam vyohanam praptihi netrutvam dravisabdhayoho. And it netrutvam, it by under, netrutvam is under its direction or it is carrying. Netrutvam dravyasabdhayoho, particles of substances and the sound. In the presence of air, sound will be transmitted. So here carrying netrutvam dravyasabdhayoho sarvendriyanam atmatvam, and of all the senses, atmatvam, providing for the proper functioning. So air is very, very important. For all the senses, air is very, very important. Sarvendriyanam atmatvam, it is just like a atma, providing for the proper functioning. Sarvendriyanam atmatvam vayoho karma abhilakshanam. Vayoho of the air, karma abhilakshanam by actions, the distinct characteristics. These are the actions and distinct characteristics of the air. Chalanam vyohanam praptihi netrutvam dravyasabdhayoho sarvendriyanam atmatvam vayoho karma abhilakshanam. So translation. The action of the air is exhibited in movements, mixing, allowing approach to the objects of sound and other sense perceptions, and providing for the proper functioning of all other senses. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada teacher. Can I request any devotees to read the purport, please?
I can read, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
We can perceive the action of the air when the branches of a tree move or when dry leaves on the ground collect together. Similarly, it is only by the action of the air that the body moves, and when the air circulation is impeded, many diseases result. Paralysis, nervous breakdowns, madness, and many other diseases are actually due to an insufficient circulation of air. In the Ayurvedic system, these diseases are treated on the basis of air circulation. If from the beginning one takes care of the process of air circulation, such diseases cannot take place. From the Ayurveda as well as from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clear that so many activities are going on internally and externally because of air alone. And as soon as there is some deficiency in the air circulation, these activities cannot take place. Here it is clearly stated, Netratvam Dravya Shabdayo. Our sense of proprietorship over action is also due to the activity of the air. If the air circulation is stifled, we cannot approach a place after hearing. If someone calls us, we hear the sound because of the air circulation, and we approach that sound or the place from which the sound comes. It is clearly said in this verse that these are all movements of the air. The ability to detect odors is also due to the action of the air. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so here, because we can perceive in the purport Prabhupada is describing the functions of the air, and we also understand whenever we compare how strong the air is, Vayuriva Ghanavalihi, even though there are so many clouds in the sky, the air comes, it will blow all the clouds. It's so powerful. It is Vayuriva Ghanavali. We always compare, and we even with very, very big boats and big pillars, everything will be blown out when the whirlwinds come. So this is the power of air. So many things happen. So here, Prabhupada is mentioning, we can perceive the action of the air when the branches of a tree move or when dry leaves on the ground collect together. Similarly, it is only by the action of the air that body moves, and when the air circulation is impeded, many diseases result. Many diseases result. In our body, there are 10 kinds of airs. The 5 are like prana, apana, udhana, vyana, samana. Again, there are 5 more subtle airs. There is Dhananjaya, Krukara. These are again given in the next, in the previous 6th chapter that Prabhupada is giving here in the, so they are all prana, apana, udhana, vyana, samana are also differently qualified as Naga, Kurma, Krukara, Devadatta, and Dhananjaya. Devadatta and Dhananjaya. These are the 10 airs. So here Prabhupada is mentioning what each air will function. It is mentioned here. Let us see that one. So here in this one, can I request any other devotee to read this paragraph, please?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
The movements of the body are first generated from the heart, and all the activities of the body are made possible by the senses, powered by the 10 kinds of air within the body. The 10 kinds of air are described as follows. The main air passing through the nose in breathing is called prana. The air which passes through the rectum as evacuated bodily air is called apana. The air which adjusts the foodstuff within the stomach and which sometimes sounds as belching is called samana. The air which passes through the throat and the stoppage of which constitutes suffocation is called udana air. And the total air which circulates throughout the entire body is called vyana air. Subtler than these 5 airs, there are others also, that which facilitates the opening of the eyes, mouth, etc. is called naga air. The air which increases appetite is called krikara air. The air which helps contraction is called kurma air. The air which helps relaxation by opening the mouth wide in yawning is called, can't see Prabhu, is called Devadatta air, and the air which helps sustenance is called Dhananjaya air. Hare Krishna.
Great. Thank you, Mataji. So here, all these airs are generated from the center of the heart, which is the only, and the central energy, superior energy of the Lord, who is seated within the heart, with the soul of the body, who acts under the guidance of the Lord. Okay? This is Sarvasya Chaham Pudi Sannivishto Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So here, just bringing about the airs. What are the airs within the body that balances our bodily activities and conditions? When these are all in the right order, so we can control any kinds of diseases. Here Prabhupada mentions, when the air circulation is impeded, many diseases result. So paralysis, nervous breakdowns, madness, and many other diseases are actually due to an insufficient circulation of air. Insufficient circulation of air. In the Ayurvedic system, these diseases are treated on the basis of air circulation. If from the beginning, one takes care of the process of air circulation, such diseases cannot take place. So sometimes we would be doing the breathing exercises, inhaling and exhaling, controlling the breath. Even whenever some yogis are also advised to hatha yoga, so controlling the body through the air. So this is Jita Swasasya Yoginaha, controlling the air, Swasa. Jita means controlling or conquering the breathing process. Pratikule Navachittam, and once we inhale it and exhale from the other nose, and again inhale from the other nose, Pratipule Navachittam, in such a way, inhaling and exhaling on what particular point, we just that breathing process gets stopped. That is called Kumbhaka Yoga. Then because he is capturing that breath or that air within his body, so it is called Kumbhaka Yoga. By that he can increase the lifespan. So when Dhruv Maharaj was doing when he was 5 years old, within 6 months itself, he controlled all the breathing process. Okay, so here in the Ayurvedic system, these diseases are treated on the basis of air circulation. Okay, so this air needs to be in a proper order. If one takes care of the process, such diseases cannot take place. And also, as well as from Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clear that so many activities are going on internally and externally because of air alone. And so there is some deficiency in the air circulation. So here this is what it is describing as Chalanam Vyohanam Praptihi Netrutrum Dravyasabdhayoho. All these activities by the air. And here it is clearly mentioned Netrutvam Dravyasabdhayoho. Our sense of proprietorship or action is also due to the activity of the air. If the air circulation is stifled, we cannot approach a place after hearing. If someone calls us, we hear the sound because of the air circulation only. If there is no air, again in the schools, we might have studied that if there is air, we are able to hear. Even though if there is no air, even though one person is speaking from the other side, we cannot hear. So air acts as a medium to carry the sound from source to the destination. This is all by air circulation. And all the radio waves, they're now throughout the internet and everything is working based on these waves and the air itself, air circulation. So, and we approach that sound or the place from which the sound comes. Then only we understand the object, the source of the sound. It clearly said in this verse that these are all movements of the air. The ability to detect odors is also due to the action of the air. It carries Vayo, again in the Vayoho Gandhan Ivashayat, whenever it is compared like when Krishna speaks in the Bhagavad Gita, Sariram yadhavapnoti yadchapi utkramatishvaraham gruhitvan samyati vayur gandhan ivashayat. When the soul leaves one body, Sariram yad avapnoti yadchapi utkramatishvaraha, and then Gruhitvaitani samyati, whenever it takes another body, it takes the conceptions of the previous life to the next life, to the next body. So Vayoriva Gandha Ivashayat, it comparing like the air is carrying all the Gandha, the smell, from one place to another place. Likewise, soul carries all the previous life conceptions to next life. So that means here just we are looking at the air actually here. Okay, odors is also due to the action of the air. Okay, that is from that shloka. We shall move on to the next shloka. The 38th shloka. So by these interactions between the tanmatras and the material elements, so there will be the form, the sense of form. And then from that, the fire also get manifested. वायोशस्पर्श तन्मात्रात् रूपं दैवेरितात् अभूत् समुचितं ततः तेजः चक्षुः रूपो उपलम्भनम् वायोशस्पर्श तन्मात्रात् vayosha from the air vayosha and sparsha tanmatrad which evolves from the subtle element touch rupam. So when we touch we feel some kind of shapes. This is rupam. Rupam daiva iritat according to the destiny. According to the destiny. Rupam daiveritat abhut samutitam tataha tejaha. And then, so once this form gets evolved, Rupam Daiveritad Abhut. Sammutitam, it arose. Tataha, from that, Tejaha, fire. Fire get manifested. And then Chakshuhu, Chakshuhu is the sense of sight. If there is a form, then we need the eyesight, sense of sight, to see the form. And then Rupa, color and form. Chakshuhu, Rupa, Upalambhanam, perceiving. Then only we can perceive what color it is, what kind of form it is, the dimensions of it, of an object. Okay, so that is, this shloka is described. Vayosha Sparshad Matrad, Rupam Daiveritad Abhut, Sammutitam Tataha Tejaha, Chakshuhu Rupa Upalambhanam. Translation. By interactions of the air and the sensations of touch, one receives different forms according to destiny. By evolution of such forms, there is fire, and the eyes sees different forms in color. Okay, but by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request that devotee take it and read the purport, please?
Yes, please, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Thank you. Because of destiny, the touch sensation, the interactions of air, and the situation of the mind, which is produced of the ethereal element, one receives a body according to his previous activities. Needless to say, a living entity transmigrates from one form to another. His form changes according to destiny and by the arrangement of a superior authority which controls the interaction of air and the mental situation. Form is the combination of different types of sense perception. Predestined activities are the plans of the mental situation and the interaction of air. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay, so here in this purport, so it is a bit more deep into this, even the few lines, small purport, so it is deep. So because of destiny, the touch sensation, the interactions of air, and the situation of the mind, which is produced of the ethereal element, one receives a body according to his previous activities. According to his previous activities. So here our body, whatever the current body we have got, it is based on Yajjad Bhavyam Bhavatu Bhagavan Purva Karmanurupam, based on the previous karma and previous activities, Papa and Punyas. Based on that, the new body is prepared. Now our actions in this life, it will prepare the next life. It will prepare next life. And whenever it is carrying, so Vayoho Gandhan Ivashayat. So that it carries the odors. Likewise, the soul, it carries the current previous life conceptions to the next, and from this life to the next life, like that. And here, which is produced of the ethereal element, one receives the body according to his previous activities. And needless to say, a living entity transmigrates from one form to another. Again, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantar praptihi dhirastatra namuhyati. Sometimes we may sing, children, sometimes child may be ugly, born ugly, but when he is growing under very good parents' care, he may be turning very beautifully in coming days. And sometimes child is born very beautifully, but because of negligence on the child's body and health and care, the child gets, when he grows, very ugly. It is on the maintenance. So if the soul is present there, the body is how it needs to be taken care of. So in such a way, it will change its form. So here, the living entity transmigrates from one form to another, one form to another, based on the activities. And his form changes according to destiny and by the arrangement of a superior authority, which controls the interaction of the air and the mental situation. This is once whatever the mental state when he was leaving the body, at that time, अंतकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयात् समद्भावं याति नास्ति अत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यज्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेव इति कौन्तेय सदा तद्भाव भावितः. Whatever the bhava was there when he was leaving the body, that kind of form he would attain in the next life. So here, that arrangement, according to the destiny and by arrangement of a superior authority, which controls the interaction of air and the mental situation. Yes. And then form is the combination of different types of sense perception. And the predestined activities are the plans of mental situation and interaction of air. Okay, so this is whatever the form it is again, is a combination of different types of sense perceptions. Okay, that is from this purport. It is a bit deep. Predestined activities are the plans of the mental situation. So for our life, everything, there is a plan. If we take any seed, for example, a banyan tree seed, and initially we do not see the entire tree, but when we just sow it in the soil, and whenever it is, the plant is coming out, and then when it grows, we see the entire big tree plant, which is so subtle, like which is embedded within the small seed. In the similar way, even our body is also very subtle, and that set all our activities, mental set, everything is embedded within the seed, the semen. Karmana dhaiva netrena, karmana dhaiva netrena. Again, in the later chapters, Kapil Bhagavan describes karmana dhaiva netrena. One would get his body. Pumsamretah kana striyaha udaraha pumsamretah kanashriyah. So when the father injects the semen into the womb of the mother, then automatically jantuho dehu upattaye. Karmana devanetrena jantuho dehu upattaye. If a living entity gets its body under the karmana devanetrena, again by the mental situation. So the soul, it will take the shelter of the semen of a man and enters into the womb of the mother. Okay, so again it is under karmana dhaiva netrena, under the superior authority. Okay, that is from that shloka. We shall move on to the next shloka as well. So here about the form and also what are the different characteristics of the form, and then how it will be known. So, Dravyakrutitvam gunata vyakti samstatvam evacham tejastvam tejasaha sadbhi rupa matrasya vrittayah. Dravya akrutitvam gunata. Dravya is an object. Akrutitvam, dimension. Gunata and quality, dimensions and qualities of an object. Dravyakrutitvam gunata. Vyakti samstatvam evacha. Vyakti samstatvam, individuality. So by the dimension and the qualities, then it will be having an individual identity. Okay, so that is Vyakti samstatvam evacha, and tejastvam, tejasaha sadbhi, tejastvam, effulgence, and tejasaha of fire, of the fire. Sadbhi, O virtuous lady. And the rupa matrasya vrittayaha, of the subtle element form. Vrittayaha is the characteristics. Dravyakrutitvam gunata vyakti samstatvam evacha tejastvam tejasaha sadbhi rupa matrasya vrittayaha. My dear mother, the characteristics of form are understood by dimension, quality, and individuality. The form of fire is appreciated by its effulgence. Okay, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Can I request any other devotee to read the purport, please?
I can read Prabhuji again if nobody is ready.
Yes, sure, Mataji.
Every form that we appreciate has its particular dimensions and characteristics. The quality of a particular object is appreciated by its utility, but the form of sound is independent. Forms which are invisible can be understood only by touch. That is the independent appreciation of invisible form. Visible forms are understood by analytical study of their constitution. The constitution of a certain object is appreciated by its internal action. For example, the form of salt is appreciated by the interaction of salty tastes, and the form of sugar is appreciated by the interaction of sweet tastes. Tastes and qualitative constitution are the basic principles in understanding the form of an object. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So here, once again, if we go back to this one. So here, in the sound to the ether, touch to air, and from air to form, form to fire, fire to taste, and taste to the water, water to smell, and then earth. Okay, and whatever we cannot understand by the smell, if we by the taste we can understand bit more. If by taste itself we do not understand, then little bit by looking at it, then we may see a little bit further, understand the knowledge more. Even it is not possible, and then we can feel it, some of them. So just a little like a, and then further, if it is not possible through the touch, and then the sound. And by the sound, sometimes it even when we are sleeping, the sound is so subtle that we can hear. Someone may, if you wanted to wake someone up, then by speaking something like then that one, it is so subtle, it will be functioning through the ears. The ear is most important sense. Okay, so just bringing the hierarchy of the senses that Prabhupada is describing here. And here, the quality of a particular object is appreciated by its utility, but the form of sound is independent. The form of sound is independent. That's why whenever we wanted to understand any, for example, if we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is independent. It is independent. And all Vedas to be heard from the bona fide spiritual masters. Again, it is to be heard. This is Shabda. This is the Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. To understand Supreme Personality of Godhead, we need to hear that and through sound vibrations. Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. And again, in the Bhagavatam, Tavat Prasadno Bhagavan Pushkarakshah Krite Yuge Darshayama Satam Chattaha Shabdam Brahma Dadad Vapuhu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is to be heard through the sound vibrations in this material world, he has appeared in front of the Kadma Prajapati in his body. But Shabdam Brahma Dadad Vapuhu, he has got a form, but that is in the spiritual world. But in this material world, it is only the sound. We can Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. Yatra Chadhya Pumanaste Bhagavan Shabda Gocharaha. Sattum Vishtabhivirjam Swanamnum Rudayan Rushaha. So the Lord is in the spiritual world. In order to understand Lord, we need to take the help of the sound from the bona fide spiritual succession and understand. So here the form of sound is independent. And forms which are invisible can be understood by only by touch. If it is not possible through sound, we need further level up. That is by touch. So there, that is the independent appreciation of the invisible form, sense of the invisible form. And even if it is not possible with invisibility, next level is the form. So this is again going back to here. Sound, if it is not possible through sound, then we also use the sense of touch. And if it is also not possible to touch, then the form to understand more. So visible forms are understood by analytical study of their constitution. And the constitution of a certain object is appreciated by its internal action. And for example, the form of salt is appreciated by the interaction of the salt it tastes. So by looking itself, it is a white. Sugar is also white. Then in order to understand a little bit more, then what we need to taste. So this is how the knowledge is required more. And salt taste and the form of sugar is appreciated by the interaction of the sweet taste. Taste and qualitative constitutions are the basic principles in understanding the form of an object. Okay, so that is about the form. So here today what we have covered here, and from the sense of touch, air, form up to form we have covered here. And then later on about the fire and its characteristics are discussed, which will be covered in the next session. Okay, so this is a little bit of more of technical, how the senses are manifested and the corresponding material elements and then characteristics and the functions. So these are all very beautiful, but more technical detail. But for ourselves, we simply understand who is the creator and appreciate. Like Sukadeva Goswami mentions one of the beautiful statement. Let me just share that one. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 10th chapter, second canto, 10th chapter, I think it is a 41 shloka here. So here, इत्थं भावेन कथितो भगवान् भगवत्तमः न इत्थं भावेन हि परम् अद्रष्टुम् अर्हन्ति सूरयः. So Sukadeva Goswami says, the great transcendentalist does describe the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the pure devotees deserve to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features. So this one creation of this universe and everything, even if you like it or we don't like it, even we know it, if we don't know it, this will take place anyway. But what it matters to me right now, I want to be very happy. This is the immediate need. So devotees, they wanted to understand who is creator beyond this. What is the relationship with him? Relationship between me and the Supreme Personality of God. And then they will see these are the pure devotees, they contemplate to see more glorious things in transcendence beyond these features of the Lord. Creation, maintenance, and destruction. These are all temporary things. But devotees want eternal things. Yes, so that is about devotees' perspective. And Sukadeva Goswami says, and the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I stop here. I request the devotees, if you have got any questions or you wanted to share anything or you wanted to comment anything. So kindly ask questions, kindly share, or kindly reflect. Okay, Pati Mataji. Yes, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, as always, such a wonderful explanation from you. The last things that you just said about what a pure devotee wants to see, but I just marvel at the creation of the Lord and this whole technical process, which is explained here, especially about, the sequence of elements, sound, touch, air, form, etc. There's so much that goes into it, and it just blows the theory of, the Big Bang theory of, creation out of the water. So for me, like, it just shows what a beautiful process that goes on behind how we come to this being. With regard to, what you said in text 37, air, I'm just amazed by how much the air makes such a difference to the system, as referred to the Ayurvedic system, which how much the action of the air by which the body moves, and when the air circulation is impeded, many diseases result. So those are such interesting facts that I was not aware of it until I came across this. So it's amazing, and again, this just shows that science and God are inseparable, and there's just so much goes behind this creation. And the creative process. So I take that away from this, and it's a bit complicated to understand, but it's such a huge process and it's so technical. So I take that away from today, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji. Okay, so science mainly it deals with only the dead matter. It does not deal with the life. Of course, they utilize the life for everything, but they ignore the life. That is the modern science. Many people are all dull-minded. They cannot understand the subtlety of the soul, how it acts and how it influences the matter. They do not acknowledge that part. Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful reflection. Thank you, Geeta Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wonderful class, Prabhuji. Really enjoyed it. But just for remembering these complicated things, the pictures that you have put up is really very important to have, to remember and to go back. Is it possible to share them in the group, Prabhuji? I request you, that's it.
Okay, so here, you see here, this is Uxbridge Gaurasanga. So this is where
Uxbridge, okay.
So here, where all of our documents here, it is shared across everyone. Everyone can have access. I can share this link as well. So maybe possibly all pictures here within this one.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. It contains all pictures, many of some of the other documents as well. They're generic documents for Krishna conscious devotees.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, any other questions, dear devotees? Mataji?
Prabhuji, when we refer to sound, I'm just curious, and I don't know whether I read this somewhere, but is the first sound Om?
Yes, that is the 32 shloka. The first thing, the universe emanated from the sound. So, 32 shloka, it describes Tamasatya Vikurvana Bhagatvirya Choditat Shabdhamatram Abhut Tasmad Nabha Srotram to Siddhagam. The universe emanated from the sound. Sound comes from the egoism. When the egoism means ignorance, so we got goodness, passion, and ignorance. They are manifested from the Mahatattva. The Ahankara is manifesting through the three paths: goodness, passion, and ignorance. From the goodness here, the green part, demigods plus mind, they get generated. And from the mode of passion, the senses and then the functioning knowledge of those senses get manifested. And from the mode of ignorance, these tanmatras plus the material elements, it gets created. And out of the tanmatras, the first thing is the sound. From the sound, sky is created. So this is, here you see, sound to ether, the sky. So we can say this universe is created. Prabhupada has clearly mentioned that we can say that this universe got created from the sound vibration, or from the sound which is like a tamasach vikurvanad. That one. So this is tamasach vikurvanad bhagavad virya choditat, but the bhagavad virya choditat, by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Choditat, impelled. Shabdhamatram abhut tasmad Nabaha is the ether. Strotram to Sabdhagam. When egoism in ignorance is agitated by the sex energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the subtle element, sound, is manifested, and from sound, come the ethereal sky and sense of hearing. So here Prabhupada has mentioned here, where is that one? Vedanta sound is the origin of all objects of the material position, that by sound one can also dissolve the material existence. So here this statement, it confirms. So here another, the entire material manifestation began from the sound, and sound can also end material entanglement if it has a particular potency. That's why we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it is the sound vibrations. When the energy, it will not lost. It will change its form, even scientifically. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the sound vibrations will go into the air. It does not lost, but we do not see them. So this is all our spiritual asset. And when we are leaving the body, so the sound vibrations are spiritual assets. It will take us out of this universe. So that is the Prabhupada is mentioning here. Sound can also end material entanglement. If it has it, this is Golo Kere Premedhana Hari Nama Sankirtana. That's why we always chant Hare Krishna properly and also loudly. Even the people here, they will be benefited. If no people, then still even the insects are also, they will be benefited. So here again, Prabhupada mentions here, maybe you can read this paragraph, Mataji, from here. Read, Mataji.
The entire material manifestation became from sound and sound. That one. Okay. Should I be reading that, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Okay. The entire material manifestation began from sound, and sound can also end material entanglement. If it has a particular potency, if it has particular potency, the particular sound capable of doing this is a transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna. Our entanglement in material affairs has begun from material sound. Now we must purify that sound in spiritual understanding. There is sound in the spiritual world also. If we approach that sound, then our spiritual life begins, and the other requirements for spiritual advancement can be supplied. We have to understand very clearly that sound is the beginning of the creation of all material objects for our sense gratification. Similarly, if sound is purified, our spiritual necessities are also produced from sound. Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you. That takes us back to the core. Yes.
Again, there are further explanations about the sound, everything. Sound is the cause of sky and everything. Prabhupada is very beautifully described. So much here again. The sound is also existing in the spiritual world. There is sound in the spiritual world, all the Vedic times. And even the sun god, whenever he is traveling on the Pushkara mountains, rotating on the Pushkara mountains, so there are always the chanting of the mantras taking place. Okay, that also we can see from the scriptural point of view. Okay, so what to speak of again, Uttama Shloka. Yes, our Lord is Uttama Shloka. He is always glorified by the best of all the shlokas. Thank you, Mataji. It's a very beautiful question. So any other questions?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other questions or reflections, dear devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. I'm sorry I missed this class, but just talking about Om. So that the Om has got 3 syllables. So is that how it was? Is there any significance to that? Is that how it was created? That first sound separately, like O and Ma.
So here, Omkara, I think Jiva Goswami, he describes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that it is Akaram, Ukaram, Makaram. Akaram Uchite Krishnaha Sarvalokaikanayakaha. And Vukaram Uchite Radha, Makaram Jivavachakaha. Again, here I think it is in here. So here, Akaren Uchite Krishna, Sarvalokaika Vukara Uchite Radha, Makaro Jivavachakaha. Vokara is count. Would you like to read this, Mataji, please?
Yes, thank you, Hare Krishna. Omkara is a combination of the letters O, Ma. Akarena Chayate Krishna. The letter Akara, refers to Krishna, who is Sarva Lokaika Nayakaha, the master of all living entities and planets, material and spiritual. Nayaka means leader. He is the supreme leader, Nityo Nityanam Chetanash Chetananam. The letter U, Okara, indicates Srimati Radharani, the pleasure potency of Krishna, and Makara, indicates the living entities, Jivas. Thus, Om is the complete combination of Krishna, his potency, and his eternal servitors. In other words, Omkara represents Krishna, his name, fame, pastimes, entourage, expansions, devotees, potencies, and everything else pertaining to him. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu states in the present verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sarva Vishwadhama, Omkara is the resting place of everything, just as Krishna is the resting place of everything. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, that was really useful.
Mataji, again, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Vejjam Pavitram Omkara, Ruksama Ejarevacha. Says in the Omkara. Okay, thank you, Mataji. This is further beautiful. It comes as part of the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, chapter 7. I think, where is that one? It's very, very big shloka comes. This is 128. Pranavase Mahavakya Vedera Nidhana Ishvara Surupa Pranava Sarva Vishwadhama. That is where all our Jiva Goswami's explanation. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Any other questions or reflections? Otherwise, we shall conclude. Everyone is happy.
Thank you. Hari Bol to Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Thank you very much,
Hari
Prabhuji.
Bol.
Beautiful class.
Hari Bol.
Vanchaka, are we finishing now?
Yes, Mataji, yeah, we can finish the session.
Thank you. Vanchakapatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo
namo
namo
namaha.
namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda
Vrinda
ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Srila
Srila
Prabhupada
Prabhupada
ki
ki
jai.
jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam
Bhagavad
ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare
Thank you, Amogha Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. Hare Krishna.
Hare